Hello dear students of the third prep grade and welcome to a new episode of our program. It's time for science, and on this episode we'll be reviewing Unit 1. Remember, we've got 3 lessons in this unit. Motion in one direction, this is lesson 1. Graphical representation, this is lesson 2. And physical quantities, this is lesson 3. But let me first welcome our guest teacher, Mr. Muhammad Mahmoud. Hello, Mr. Muhammad, and welcome to the program.
Hello, Yasser. Thank you.
So, Mr. Muhammad, why have you decided to have this review?
Because we, firstly, hello dear students, because we have to finish lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3 especially, and at the same time we should review or a general review on unit 1. At the same time we should make some practice as some types of questions as complete, give reason, choose some problems, because unit 1 as you see physical or physics. So let's go dear students to start our episode today with the first type of questions as complete the following statements. So here we have a revision on unit 1 as you see here, and we have the first type of question as complete the following statements. Number 1, the result of multiplying a speed of a moving object by time. Here we talk about rule or mathematical law. Here we have a result of multiplying a speed of a moving object by time. So we should write the magic triangle as we remember. Here we have a triangle like that, and we can write here speed equal what? Distance over time. From this mathematical relation we can result can find the multiplying speed, here speed of a moving object by time. So if they multiply together we have here distance. So from question number 1 we can identify the answer as distance. So result of multiplying the speed of a moving object by time is distance. Next question is defined as a cover distance within time unit. As we studied before, from the mathematical relation here we can find the answer as we know, defined as cover distance. So here we have 2 physical quantities. Number 1 as cover distance. So here we have distance as we have within time unit. So we have time. So we have the two factors of what? Distance and time are the 2 factors of what? Of distance or of time or of speed. So here we talk about speed, and we can find this result from the what? From the magic triangle as you see at the beginning of this page. زي ما احنا شايفين فوق عندنا speed equal distance over time, so we can conclude the answer from number 1 and number 2 from the same triangle or from the same definition. Next question, dear students, is speed measurement unit are what or what? We have 2 measurement units of speed. As here we have speed equal distance over time, so we have 2 measuring units. Number 1 is what and number 2 is what? We have meter and here we have second, or maybe we have here kilometer. لما نبص فوق على التريانجل we have kilometer and here we have hour. So maybe the speed is meter per second or kilometer per hour. So we have 2 measuring units of what? Of speed. So question number 3 we talk about what? We talk about here speed measurement unit are what? Meter per second or kilometer per hour. Number 4, the result of dividing the total distance that moving object covers by total time, by, as you see here, by total time taken to cover this distance. As question number 4, how can answer this question from the mathematical rule? We can answer by what? Here we know as total distance over total time taken. So here we have the result of dividing total distance over total time. Here we have what? We have average speed as the answer of question number 4, because average speed is the resulting of dividing total distance covered over total time taken. So our answer here is what is the average speed. So if we remember the mathematical rule, or we remember the definition of any physical quantity from these physical quantities as speed or distance or time, we can remember any question as complete, and at the same time in any type of questions as give reason for, or maybe correct or choose. Here we have another question as a type, or the second type of questions in this episode is the scientific term. Here we have distance that a moving object covered or covers within a time unit. Here we talk about two factors as the first, like the first page, we talk about distance covered covers by the object within a time unit. So here we talk about the two factors affecting what? Yes, we talk about the two factors affecting speed. So here we talk about speed as the answer of our question, or the first question in write the scientific term. Next question is, a moving object covers equal distances at equal periods of time. Here we talk about type of speed, but in this type of speed we talk about two factors, what? Distance and what? And time. But at the same time we have equal distances and equal periods of time, يعني الاثنين equal. So we talk about what? We talk about what speed? Here we talk about, yes, uniform or regular speed. So here we answer according to type of speed as uniform speed, because the body covered covers equal distances at equal periods of time. Question 3 بيقول the total distance that a moving object covers divided by the total time taken to cover this distance as complete in the previous page. زي الكومبليت اللي جالنا في البيج اللي فاتت. The total distance that a moving object covers divided by the total time taken to cover this distance. So here we talk about the result of what? Of average speed. So the answer here is the average speed, because we talk about total distance covered. هي مكتوبة هنا اهو. Total distance covered over total time taken. So we have only one answer in this question as what? As average speed. Number 4, the value of an object speed relative to the observer. The value of an object speed relative to the observer. Here we talk about speed, but according to another object. So we talk about what speed? Here we have two objects move maybe in the same direction, maybe in the opposite direction. So maybe, but at the same time the two objects here move in motion, يعني بيتحركوا. So we talk about what speed? بيقول لي relative to the observer. So the answer here is yes, is what? Is the relative speed, because relative speed is the speed of an object relative to another, or relative to the observer, as the two objects move in the same direction or the two objects move in the opposite direction. Okay. Next question, what is meant by the average speed of a moving car is 70 km per hour. So we talk about what? We talk about average speed. So we know average speed is total distance covered over total time taken. So we should separate this value here, because we have here distance and here we have time. So we can define from the number according to what? According to average speed. يعني هقول له ايه؟ هقول له average speed total distance covered. Total what? Distance covered. Equal how many? Here we have number what? 70 kilometer. يبقى equal 70 kilometer. Over total time taken. Over total time taken. Equal how many? Equal 1 hour. So if we define any mathematical or any physical quantity, we can define with number. ما عندناش مشكلة. We have no problem to define according to the average speed, uniform speed, non-uniform speed, whatever. But we should use the number. We should separate this physical quantity into distance and at the same time as time. As we will answer question number 2 here, a car moving at uniform speed 80 km per hour. Here we talk about what? We talk about uniform speed. And at the same time we have a quantity here, or يعني magnitude, as we studied in lesson 3. So here this magnitude is 80 km per hour. But at the same time we talk about what here? We talk about uniform speed. And we know uniform speed is the body covered, yes, the body covered, or body covers how many? Equal distances. So how many distances here? Equal 80 kilometers. أخدت الديستانس لوحدها. Okay? يبقى body covered equal distances equal 80 kilometer at equal periods of time equal how many? Equal 1 hour. So we define according to uniform speed using the number and separate the value of this number into distance and time, and we know measuring unit in this quantity is 80 kilometer as a measuring unit of distance, and time is 1 hour. Number 3, a moving car covers distance of 100 kilometers in 2 hours. So here we have a separated numbers, as here 100 kilometers and at the same time in 2 hours. So we have distance here, and here we have what? And here we have time. So if we talk about distance and time, we talk about what? Yes, we talk about speed. So here we can compress the two numbers together as the speed of the object equal how many? Equal 200 over 2 equal 50 kilometer per hour. يبقى لما number يبقى compress as question 1 و 2, we separate the number or the physical quantity from each other. But if the number is separated, we compress the number again and make it as one term. Here we talk about distance and time, so we talk about speed. As question number 4 here بيقول لي not like number 3. يعني question 4 like question number 3 بيقول لي an object moving in a straight line, okay, covers a distance of 20 meters. يبقى here we have distance 20 meters here in 1 second. So here we have time. So we talk about what? Yes, we have distance and time. Dear students, we talk about, احنا بنتكلم على speed. So speed of the object equal how many? Speed of the object here equal 20 divide 1 equal 20 meter per second. We act with the what is meant by here as a problem in number 3 and 4, and we define the physical quantity from the two factors distance and time, and we know the two main factors affecting the speed is distance and time. Okay, next question is the what is meant by the velocity of the body equal 0. Here we talk about velocity equal 0.
I know.
You know the answer?
Is it displacement?
Excellent. Displacement equal?
Displacement equals 0.
Yes,
right?
excellent. Yes. So here, if we talk,
I know what you mean. When you start from one point and go back to the same point.
so you are in motion now or in static? You are in motion.
Yeah.
So some students believe that if the velocity equals 0, so the body in static. No. If the velocity equals 0, which means the distance displacement equals 0, and the displacement equals 0, maybe as you as you say, the body go to any point and return back to its origin position. So here, as your answer here, the velocity equals 0 when displacement equals 0. Excellent, yes sir. So here we can answer, dear students, from this definition of velocity, because we know velocity is displacement covered through time unit. So here the displacement equal, our displacement covered equal 0, because from the mathematical rule زي ما هنشوف دلوقتي قدامنا, velocity equal displacement over time. So velocity equals 0, which means displacement equals 0, because 0 over anything equal what? Equal 0, or 0 divide any number equal 0, as we studied before in mathematics.
Isn't it For example, like when you take your car in the morning
Yes.
from the garage, go
Yes.
to work, and come back again to the same point.
Yes. As you get up from your bed and then return back to your bed again at the end of your day, so you move to any to any point and then return back. So here in this case, your body or your case here in motion, because we have another question: what is meant by the speed equals zero?
Yeah.
The speed equals zero. If the speed equals zero, the distance equals zero, which means the body in what? At rest. The body at rest. In this case, the body at
doesn't move.
because the speed equal distance over time. If we talk about speed, we talk about distance and time. If we talk about velocity, we talk about displacement and time. We have great difference between distance and displacement, speed and velocity, and we explained these points at the previous episode. So let's go to complete our questions from as problems. بيقول لي a boy on a bike covers 300 meters in a minute and 420 meters in the next minute. Calculate the average speed. Calculate what? The average speed. طيب, average speed during the first minute. So here we need the average speed in the first minute only. We need the average speed what? In the first minute only. عايزينها في الدقيقة الأولانية بس. So here we have two numbers, as here we have 300 meters in 1 minute, but the measuring unit of time is second or hour, not minute in our curriculum. Okay? في المنهج عندنا the measuring unit of time is second or hour. So we should convert minute here into what? Into second. Why second? Because the measuring unit of distance is what? Is meter here. So we can write here during first minute the speed here 300 over what? Over 60, as you see, divide 60 equal 5 meter per second. So we calculate the average speed. Some students have some disturbance here because we talk about average speed but in the first minute. عايز average speed بس في الدقيقة الأولانية بس. So we cover 300 meters in the first minute. And we talk about the average speed in the second minute. And we know in the second minute the body covers 420 meters in the next minute. So we should remember and we should convert this minute, next minute here, into what? Into second. حولها أو convert into second times 60. And we have only 1 minute. So the average speed here equal 420 divide 60 equal how many? 7 meter per second. By calculator is it's very easy, but don't forget to convert the measuring unit into right measuring unit. During the 2 minutes here بقى we talk about the average speed in the 2 minutes. So we should talk about total distance covered over total time taken in the 2 minutes, not in first minute or in the second minute. So we have 300 plus 420 as the two distance here and here over 60 and 60 as total time here. So we have 300 plus 420 divide 120 as total time taken equals 6 meters per second. So dear students, we can know the average speed in any time in number 1, our A, B, and C from the type of problem. Here we have another type of problem according to different distances and different periods of time. Here بيقول لي in this problem, racer covered 50 meters northward within 30 seconds. Then 100 meters eastward within 60 seconds. Then 50 meters southward within 10 seconds. And then return back to the starting point within 40 seconds. Okay, So how long the total distance that the racer covered? Here we should remember, we should write or we should draw the graph or draft to remember. Body moves 50 meters northward like that. 50 meters. How many? In how many? زي ما قال in problem in 30 seconds. Okay. 30 seconds. Then moves how many? Then moves 100 meters eastward. تحرك للشرق eastward 100 meters within 60 seconds. Okay. Then the body, the same body moves southward, يعني نزل لتحت جنوبا زي ما بيقولوها. How many? 50 meters here in how many? 10 seconds. In 10 seconds. يبقى لازم اكتب 10 seconds. Then return back to its origin point. يعني رجع تاني كده. In how many? In 40 seconds. Some students ask me, how many distance in this point or in this straight line? هنا بقى how many? So we have two distance at the two sides. عندنا في left and right side 50 and 50. And the parallel side to 40 seconds is 100 meter. So the distance right or down is how many? Is 100 meters. Is how many? Is 100 meters. So how many, how long the total distance? Total distance in the first point on the first question here, we make the total of all distances as 50 plus 100 plus 50 and plus how many? Plus 100, لأن هو return back to its origin point. Equal how many? Equal 300. 300 meters. Don't forget to write the measuring unit beside the number. What is the average speed of the racer? Here we talk about the average speed. Average speed is the total distance covered over total time taken. So total distance equal how many? Average speed is total distance covered over total time taken. So here we have 50 plus 100 plus 50 plus 100 over how many? Over 30 plus 60 plus 10 plus 40. From the graph. جبت الكلام ده منين؟ من الجراف اللي انا او من الدرافت، يعني اعتبروه درافت. طيب يبقى average speed equal 300 over how many? 60 and 30 equal 90, 100 and 140. 140 and by calculator we can find the number as, and the measuring unit is what? Is meter per second. Okay? I think 2.2 meter per second، يعني رقم قريب من ده. Okay? يبقى هنا we can find the average speed as total distance covered over total time taken. We have another two questions in the same problem. What is the displacement? Here we talk about about what? We talk about the displacement, and we know displacement in this case the body returns back to its origin point. زي ما انتم شايفين the body moves in this direction like that, then in this direction, then northward, then southward, then return back to its origin point. So in this case the displacement equal what? Displacement here equal 0 meter, because the body returns back to its origin point. What is the velocity at the same time if the displacement equals 0? And we know the velocity here equals 0 because velocity equal displacement over time, 0 meter per second. And displacement equals 0, so the velocity equals 0. So dear students, don't forget to draw the زي ما بنقول كده draft أو حاجة هي طبعا not as obligation، يعني مش حاجة مش إجباري. But you can't answer this type of questions without drawing. maybe without drawing you have some disturbance in your answer, some mistakes in your answer. So in this problem, again, my dear students, we should remember how can we draw, and we know 4 directions. We have north, east, west, and south. And on the answer paper, in your answer paper, not in the question paper. ما اروحش اكتب الكلام ده في ورقة الأسئلة. تمام؟ We write on the answer paper that the 4 directions, and in each side we write the distance and time as meter and time in second, or kilometer and time in hour, whatever. And from the draft we can remember or can find the distance and displacement. If can find the distance and displacement, you can find the speed and velocity, because speed is distance covered through time unit, while velocity is the displacement covered through time unit. And we have a great difference between distance and displacement, and we remember this difference in the previous episode as lesson 3, the physical quantities as a scalar and vector physical quantities. So we should remember the 2 factors affecting speed and the 2 factors affecting the velocity.
What we're doing now is having some various questions on...
From you?
No, I mean in general.
Yes.
We're having different questions from lesson 1, 2, or 3.
Yes, yes, yes. In this episode, we have all...
So if I ask you about a give reason question,
yes.
For example,
give reason for?
acceleration, yeah. Acceleration value is positive when the speed increases.
Give reason for. Okay.
Acceleration value is positive when the speed increases.
Acceleration value is positive when the speed increases.
Which lesson is this?
Lesson 2, graphical representation. We talk about here increasing acceleration and decreasing acceleration. But here we talk about the value of acceleration is what is positive. Why the acceleration value is positive when the speed increases? We answer here according to what? According to the final and initial speed. مش هجاوب according to the definition. أقول because final speed is greater than initial speed. So the value is what? Is positive. Is positive because we have acceleration here equal v2 minus v1 over delta t. And if v2 greater than, v2 is what? Is the final speed, and greater than v1 as initial speed, so the value is what? Is positive, as we write in the question. You have another one?
Yeah.
As
okay.
Give reason or what?
Yeah, give reason.
Give reason, well. Okay.
Yes. Displacement is a vector physical quantity.
Okay, displacement as give reason for. Displacement, okay, is
a vector
physical
quantity.
Physical quantity. Okay, here we talk about what? We talk about the vector and the scalar physical quantity. Displacement is a vector physical quantity as a give reason for. Here we talk about give reason for, although because it identifying by magnitude, واسكت magnitude and what? And direction. So here we talk about any vector physical quantity, we talk about magnitude here and direction, as the scalar physical quantities are identifying by magnitude only. But we talk about vector physical quantity, we identify by magnitude and what? And direction. Okay. Let's go to complete the next type of questions as choose the following statements or choose the right answer. Here we talk about acceleration. Is what? Is the change in distance in unit time, or change in speed in unit time, or rate of change distance relative to the speed. So how can we remember the definition of acceleration? As we know, acceleration equal what? Final speed minus initial speed divide the delta time or difference in time. So acceleration is difference or change in speed at in unit time, in unit A time. So we will choose what? Next, first, or next, or third one. So we choose change in speed in unit time from the mathematical rule. Number 2, movement is at uniform acceleration. So here we talk about what? Uniform acceleration. And we know acceleration is the change in speed through time unit. So number 1, if the body speed change at equal values in equal intervals of time. ولا number 2 اللي هي مكتوبة بالblue color, if the distance that the object covers change at equal values in equal time. Or number 3 as brown color, if the average speed equal the regular speed. So we talk about what? We talk about uniform acceleration, and we talk about change in speed but at uniform. يبقى we choose number 1 if the body speed change at equal values in equal intervals or periods of time. So if we remember the mathematical rule again and we remember the definition, we can answer any question according to choose, give reason, what happens, and the problem at the same time. So here we have third question as choose acceleration measurement unit is meter per second, or meter dot second, or time second, or meter per second power 2. So we should remember the acceleration definition as what? هنكتبها تاني. acceleration equal v2 minus v1 over delta t. So here we have measuring unit as meter per second, and here we have measuring unit as what? Second. So we have meter per second per second. So we have meter per second power 2. برضو from the mathematical rule we can identify or can find the what? The measuring unit of any physical quantity. Number 4, the displacement is a vector physical quantity and its measuring unit is what? Displacement. We know displacement is the shortest straight line between the 2 points. And we know displacement is a vector physical quantity because it identifying by magnitude and direction. But here we have to know the measuring unit of what? Of displacement. The measuring unit of displacement like the measuring unit of what? Of distance. So here we will choose what? We will choose, dear student, number 1 as meter. Maybe kilometer. If the question contains kilometer, we will choose kilometer. Number 5. The amount of change in velocity. Here we talk about what? Amount in change in what? In velocity. Change in velocity in 1 second. So here we have velocity and here we have time as second. So change in velocity or change in speed in 1 second. So we talk about, yes, we have acceleration here as number 3 as acceleration. So طبعا as we studied before, we know velocity or a change in velocity in 1 second as acceleration, as we say change in speed in 1 second as acceleration also. Number 6, the object moves at constant uniform speed. What? Constant uniform speed. When it moves with 0 acceleration, when it moves with constant acceleration which means uniform acceleration عشان نبقى فاهمين بس احنا بنتكلم على ايه. Okay, number 3, it covers equal distance in unequal times. So we talk about constant uniform speed. We can't choose at all number 3. مش حدش يختار number 3. It covers equal distance in unequal times. No, because here we talk about uniform, not non-uniform. So we can't choose number 2. It moves with constant acceleration, because constant acceleration, which means what? Which means uniform acceleration. So we have to write what? It moves with 0 acceleration, because we have graph like that, graph كده, small graph. We have two axes as speed and time here. One of them represent speed and one of them on other represents what? The time. So if we have هنا لو عملته كده يبقى what? يبقى increasing acceleration type. If we have like that, straight line like that, and here we have speed and time, here we have acceleration equal 0, and at the same time the speed is uniform or regular or constant speed. So if we have uniform speed, we have acceleration equal 0, and this give reason because the final speed equal initial speed, or because the speed doesn't change. السرعة ما اتغيرتش. Number 7. It is said that the object moves with uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration when final speed equal primary speed. أقول له ما ينفعش. يبقى final speed equal primary speed. We have no acceleration here. We have acceleration equal 0. So we can't choose this answer. Number 2. Its speed increases in equal amount at equal intervals of time. I think we can answer by number 2. But we should write or read number 3. لازم نقرا number 3 برضو. Covers equal distance in equal periods of time or times interval. أقول له لا ما ينفعش, because here we talk about uniform speed. So we will choose what? Number 2. Its speed increases in equal amount at equal intervals of what? Of time. Because we talk about uniform acceleration. Number 1. Give reason again. Most of a moving cars can't move inside crowded places with uniform velocity. Here we talk about cars and the crowded places, as in Tokyo, in New York, in Cairo, from the crowded towns or cities, most crowded places. So we have here to answer according to what? We have according to or due to the traffic conditions. So car can't move inside crowded places with uniform velocity or uniform speed because or due to the traffic conditions. Number 2. A moving car seems to be at rest. Here the answer seems to be at rest. But at the same time moving car seems to be at rest, كأنها واقفة. Relative to rider of another moving car beside it with the same velocity and direction. So here, dear students, if the two cars move in the same direction with the same speed, if you look to other car, from your car to the other car, or maybe you have another passenger beside you in the same train.
It feels like the other car not moving.
Yes, at rest. So here, or other passenger beside you in the same train, beside in the next chair beside you. So if you look to this passenger, you feel this passenger at what? At rest.
At rest.
What? But at the same time, the train moves
moving forward
with the speed maybe more than مثلا 180 kilometer or 200 kilometer per hour. Why? Because here we talk about the relative speed. Because relative speed in this case, the two cars or the two objects move in the same direction with the same speed. In this case, the relative speed equal what? Equal 0.
Yeah.
So you appears at rest, or me at rest, appear at rest, because the relative speed, because your speed minus my speed, because we are in the same direction, V1 or VA minus VB, مثلا 50 minus 50 يبقى equal how many? 50 minus 50 equals 0.
100 or 0.
50
yeah.
minus
minus,
50.
minus, yeah.
Okay, so if the two cars equal speed or two
Zero.
objects, so at the same direction, عشان احنا if the two objects in the same direction we make minus. If the two objects in the opposite direction we make the summation of the two speeds. So number 2 and give reason for. بيقول لي a car seems to be at rest relative to rider of another moving car beside it with the same velocity and direction, because in this case we can answer according to, because the relative speed equal what? The relative speed equals 0. The relative speed equal 0. Number 3, mass, length and time are considered as a scalar physical quantity. Mass, length and time are considered as scalar physical quantity. We answer from what?
Here we define scalar.
Scalar, yes, we define scalar. Yes, excellent. So we define a scalar as a definition of scalar identified by magnitude only. Any scalar physical quantity as speed, distance, time, length, mass. Okay, so because they identify by what? By magnitude only. Because they identify by magnitude only.
All right, I have a question here.
Okay.
It's a
Question?
Yeah.
Yes. What type of question you have?
Correct the mistake. I mean, like.
Right, wrong?
Right or wrong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion of a train is considered as motion in two directions.
Motion of train
is considered
as
motion in two directions.
As motion in two directions. So here we have right or wrong. Who can answer this question and correct if it's wrong? So this statement is completely wrong. Why? Because motion of train is considered as a motion in what? In one direction, not in two directions. So here we can't write two directions, we write only one direction, because train moves forward or backward, not upward or not downward. بيتحرك لقدام ولورا بس، ما بيتحركش لأعلى أو لأسفل. You have another one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Measurement unit of speed is meter dot second. Measurement unit of speed is meter dot second.
Excellent. تمام. Measurement unit of speed equal meter dot second. Here we have meter dot second. The measuring unit of speed we know meter, yes, per second, not dot second, because we have distance divided in time. So meter per second, not meter divide second. Okay, not meter what divide second. نخلي بالنا we can answer according to the mathematical rule or the measuring unit. So here we have completely what? Completely wrong. So we have meter per second, not meter dot second or meter times second. Times second. You have another one, yes, sir?
You may go ahead until I prepare the next question.
Okay. So here, dear students, we have another type of questions as give reason. And we talk about acceleration, and we know acceleration is difference in speed or difference or change in speed through time units. So acceleration equal v2 minus v1 over delta t, and we know delta t, which means difference in time, as final and initial time. Okay, here we have some types of questions according to lesson 2 and lesson 3, physical quantities and lesson 3, and the graphical representation in lesson 2. So question number 6 بيقول معايا acceleration is positive when the speed's value increases. Acceleration is positive when the speed or the speed's value increases. And we know acceleration becomes positive. Why? Because final speed is greater than what? Initial speed. So here we talk about what? We talk about V2 and V1. V2 here is greater than V1. See, so if we make V2 minus V1, we have what? We have positive value. We have what? We have positive value. So we answer according to the final and initial speed. Question number 7. Physicists use mathematical methods like graphs and tables. Why we use graphs and tables in science generally or in physics specially?
To determine what?
To determine what, yes. So we have to determine two things, at least from the graphical representation or from the tables or graphs. So here we can answer according to. According to, or to identify, number one, or to know the relations between the physical quantities. عشان أعرف a relation between the physical what? Quantities. Maybe directly proportional, maybe inversely proportional, as we studied before in lesson 1 and lesson 2. So here we know the relation between the physical quantities. Number 2 here, to identify the results by easy way عشان أعرف النتيجة. يبقى here from the tables and graphs, here we can find the relation or identify the relation between the physical quantities, and at the same time we can know or mention the results of maybe as uniform or non-uniform, we can identify by graph. صح؟ طيب. Number 8. The movement of train can be considered as a motion in one direction. As question here give reason, but Yasser asked me this question as right or wrong. And we answer this question because movement of train motion or the train motion considered as a motion in one direction, not in two directions, because train moves what? Forward or backwards, not upward or downward. يعني القطر بيتحرك للأمام forward or backward only, not upward or downward.
Okay, so talking about uniform speed and non-uniform speed, can this be a question in the exam, like compare between?
Maybe we have a compare according to the definition or according to the graph. So if we write a graph مثلا of uniform and a non-uniform speed, here we have two graphs as you see here, my dear students, graph number 1 and the graph number 2. Here we have distance time, here we have distance and time. But here we talk about this uniform, and here we talk about non-uniform or regular and irregular. Here we have distance time, and here we have distance and time. So if we draw a straight line pass through the origin point here, so here we talk about what? We talk about uniform speed. And here if we write like that, curved line maybe like that or like that, as here we talk about non-uniform speed, because here in the first case as uniform speed the body covered equal distance or equal distances at equal periods of time, but in non-uniform speed the body covered unequal distances in equal periods of time or equal distances in unequal periods of time. يعني one of them unequal and the other factor or the other quantity is equal periods of time.
So we can say that when the speed increases, the distance increases and time decreases.
So as give reason for.
Yeah.
Yes, excellent. كويس قوي. يبقى أنا عندي give reason for here. Give reason for when speed increases, the distance increases and time decreases. Okay, so we answer according to the mathematical rule. We have speed equal distance over time. So what are the relation between distance and speed? Here we have speed and distance are directly proportional. Directly what? Proportional. What is meant by directly proportional, as we studied before in mathematics and in science? Directly proportional, which means when this quantity increase, the other quantity will increase with it. If the speed increase, the distance increase. So they are directly proportional. But at the same time, speed and time are what? If the speed increase, the time decrease. أكيد لما أمشي بسرعة هوصل في وقت أقل. يبقى لو السرعة زادت, if the speed increases, the time decreases. So here, because speed and time are inversely proportional. So we have to know the relation between distance and time and speed and time. And عندنا speed and time طبعا inversely proportional, with speed and distance are directly proportional. My teacher in secondary school called me, we can identify or we can conclude any relation from the mathematical law. وانا فاكرها لغايه دلوقتي. لما يبقوا الاثنين قدام بعض يعني face to each other and we have equal between them, we have directly proportional relation. If they are one up and one down, and at the same time we have equal between them, so here we have inversely proportional. So we can conclude directly and inversely proportional from the mathematical rule.
All right, that's all the time we have for this episode. I'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Mahmoud,
Thank
for
you, sir. Also,
this interesting
thank you, sir, for your
review.
interaction with me.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of this episode, dear students of the 3rd prep grade. In this lesson we've had, or on this episode, we've had a review on Unit 1. Unit 1, as you all know, includes 3 lessons: motion in one direction, graphical representation, and physical quantities. Do wait for us at the same time next week, inshallah, for another episode and another lesson. Until we meet you again, we wish you all the best. Goodbye.